Doctoral Tyrrany. There is an uncommon form of the verb to doctor, meaning the same thing as adulterate, that is, to add a hidden ingredient to something, such as putting poison or sleeping pills into someone's drink. From etymology, it comes from Latin docere, to teach. Thus, its common use extending to the present refers to a teacher. Old French docteur was a church father. For a simpleton such as myself, it is enough to say that doctor is synonymous for expert, specifically a proven expert. In each nation across the world, collective institutions confer this proof in the form of a paper degree. You call them colleges. When you look at it, colleges are self-referencing and self-replicating machines. A student goes to college to face off against professors who rank their progress, fairly or unfairly. Those professors are more often not holders of the very degrees the colleges print out. In order to continue the cycle, a student graduates, obtains a degree, then works for the college as a professor or some other staff member, then repeats the process of testing new students, selecting the victors and conferring upon them degrees, year after year. To simplify it even further, college is an exclusive membership club, like a fraternity or a sorority. Not everyone who wants to go can, usually because of the high-costing membership fees, and some who can afford are rejected for not being smart enough by the executive members of the club. But the ones who are accepted and survive the series of tests and tasks to the club's satisfaction are awarded the I'm So Smart badges, which are useful for getting higher-paying jobs in the real world, somehow, and can even go and work for the club itself, where they breathe the life of academia, surrounded by it, embedded in it. It is a self-fulfilling group. Part of its legitimacy lies in the rules they enforce upon themselves. Run out of money for the next semester? You're put on indefinite hiatus and can jeopardize the progress you've made, as in some cases it can expire. Fail to complete assignments? Often means failing the course and having to repeat it. Although they can combine your failed score with your new score so that you lose the opportunity to get a perfect one. It is even possible that if the professor doesn't like you on a personal level, he may not let you pass the class. The opposite is also possible, where a student can even prostitute themselves to the professor for a passing grade while excused from doing any of the assigned work. Those potential corruptions are minor to the phenomenon I first brought up, that colleges, as they are comprised of scholars, are self-replicating. It is people-based. A college can exist simply because it forms a group of people that like themselves, admire each other's, quote, work, unquote. From professor to student to professor, it forms an unbroken cycle which is quick to reject any student that questions the professor's authority. They reject or flunk students with much less audacity, simply for being lazy, failing to comply, being willing to kiss ass. More people who attend colleges fail to obtain a degree. That forms part of the culture of this world. The stated purpose, however, is to confer expertise to the younger generations from the older, so that they might become plumbers, architects, engineers, managers, and such. Colleges hold exclusive monopoly of authority on who is allowed to become a lawyer, a grade school teacher, or a medical doctor. There are some mechanics in the college structure which put a cap on the maximum number of students it accepts for certain programs, such as in law or medicine. In this way, there are always a limited amount of new doctors each year, a limited amount of professionals certified to administer medicine. This helps make that profession highly lucrative. When there are only so many doctors to go around, hospitals are expected to pay high salaries, and those in private practice can all unanimously bill their customers high prices. If more individuals had the chance to become doctors, their overall earnings may dwindle from what they are. Fast food employees, on the other hand, considered a low-status job, are abundant enough for fast food joints to offer minimal pay, so that they even accept the consequence of high turnover, which means when one employee refuses to do the work, i.e. quits, they just hire the next willing performer. But I don't mean to talk about the shabby state of the economy, rather the hokey situation of what passes off as expertise and the undue value common people tend to give it. Oh, he has a degree. Oh, he has letters after his name. Wow, he survived that hell of a gauntlet and won. This extends into a world outside the club of academia, the public forum, where those who lack the letters after their names are denied due attention. They are scoffed at, ignored, dismissed, even when they may have some clever insights to share. You know at least one example of such overlooked brilliance. Now, I come to a point of setting up my discourse to bring your attention to the issue which you are concerned with. I assume as much, given you are giving me the time of the day. It is the title of this piece of writing, Doctoral Tyrrany. Initially, I wrote a draft that had the word medical, but changed it to doctoral, both to broaden the root of the issue as well as evade possible censors. But yes, the tyranny which concerns you and I and everyone else today can aptly be described as medical. For practically 2 years now, the leaders of that tyranny have held on to the attention of many tads, the whole world basically, and holds that attention in focus on one debate. For the dominant side, there is no debate. There is only absolute truth that the combined authority declares. The remainder seems to suffer a more torturous fate. They reject the tyranny, but are caught up, in some cases consumed by the debate. This late in the day I will come out, first admitting that I am dreadfully tired of the damn debate over medical truth. The debate is but a distraction that can offer no real solution. Take every claim the authority makes, however false it may be, that there is a danger out there, that you need to follow their rules to fight the danger, that you must avoid the danger at all costs, that if you succumb to this danger you will die and cause the death of others. This may trigger some censors, but so what? What if it were true? That there is a deadly threat floating in the air, that staying locked in your house is the only way to be safe against it. So what? The issue is not about medicine. It's not about biology. It's about freedom. All facts aside, it doesn't matter if the threat is real or not. The issue of freedom trumps all other considerations. Go back to the origins. Go back to 1984. I mean the actual year, or close to it, rather. I can't be bothered to check. It may have been actually 1985, when a certain diabolical, covert, 3-letter agency declared the threat of HIV/AIDS, primarily a homosexual ailment. They said it was the deadliest thing mankind had ever seen, that anyone was susceptible, and that it was spreading rapidly, ravaging across the planet. Take note, however, that they never, and to this day still do not, prevent the victims who have HIV, a sexually transmitted disease, from having sex with whomever they want. It's as if they didn't care if it spread, and frankly, many homosexuals didn't either. Where was the tyranny then? Why didn't they lock chastity belts onto the offenders, as they might have given an ankle monitor onto other criminals? Why were these AIDS patients allowed to continue in reckless lifestyles, even leaving the door open for the disgusting phenomenon of, quote, bug chasers, unquote? If you don't know what that is, be content. You do not want to. I'll tell you the fuck why. Because no authority has the power to interfere with your freedom, including your freedom to take risks and potentially harm yourself. If someone with HIV has consensual sex with another person without using protection, and the other person contracts it, each are guilty of taking risks which they are free to do. Don't mistake me now for condoning such behavior. I'm not telling anyone that they should risk their lives doing anything reckless. However, the value of freedom trumps. Like it or not, you can go out of your way to control someone, but ultimately, this is impossible. Yes, humans buckle under pressure. They give in to influence. But is this not just a disguised choice? Choosing to let someone else tell you what to do? Choosing to follow orders even when you are convinced that your life is threatened by the one giving you the orders. You choose to believe that. What you see today are millions, if not billions, of tads choosing to believe that they must comply with the authorities' threats and their demands. It's their choice, one you cannot make for them, and one you cannot take away from them. You cannot make a choice for anyone but yourself. You choose to enter the debate. Likewise, you can choose not to contest. There is no burden of proof on your shoulders. You do not have to disprove the claims of a deadly threat by any authority figure, even if you think you are capable. In turn, the best way to disprove it is to live, to go on living. The trick the authorities play on the masses is that they are so powerful, the only way to challenge them is head-on, playing the game by the rules they invent. It's no different than being in a quantum physics classroom. Sitting at the desk, the teacher hands you a paper exam with questions on it. You aren't convinced by the professor's degrees of truth. 3 options. You can write down the, quote, correct, unquote, answers, the ones the teacher wants you to believe. You can write something which challenges the correct answers, in which the teacher will just fail you. Or you can stand up and leave. For 2 years, I've witnessed John Lamlash and Ginny Thwaite consumed by this debate. Of the dozens of hours of talks, the pages of writings, the fallacies of doctoral tyranny, the covert psyop, as John calls it, pops up again and again and again. Each time he and Ginny feel like they've conquered it, as if they've shown all the evidence contrary to the authorities' propaganda. Yet every next time I hear from them, the debate, which is one-sided on both sides, takes over the conversation. Every single time. It's an issue which seems to have drawn the bulk of John's attention for the past 2 years. It gets even more convoluted as the whole concept of medicine is murky territory. Health crisis, health crisis, health crisis. On the Nemeta forums, I've seen 2 particularly strong-willed and strong-minded women whom each have proven they know a great deal about health. Yet one of them is a vegetarian, and the other believes that it's wrong for humans to eat plants. I could be wrong on that. It appeared clear to me, though. I myself both eat meat and plants. I make no contest with G&M. I find Dr. Hammer's work insightful and find these insights in a way proven in my own recent experiences with disease and healing. Yet I will say the some on Nemeta seem to attribute, dare I say it, a messianic praise to G&M as an ideology. I could be wrong here as well, but some seem to use it as their trump card. Everything goes back to G&M. Learning G&M will solve all the problems in the world. Yes, my intent here is to spark a nerve. Let me return to my primary premise. There is a dangerous similarity between expertise and authority. No expertise is above freedom. Even when you are right, no parent can ultimately forbid their child from doing something they disagree with, nor can they truly stop them from doing anything. The child can run away and abandon their parents, for better or worse. Yes, you are free to be upset about it, but only as much as the child is free to do it, to disobey. And it isn't my words that prove anything. Proof is in the pudding. It happens all the time. Parents forbid you from having a lover. You go and find one anyway. Law says you can't do drugs, yet every city has druggies. Freedom is something else entirely, something aside from medicine and expertise. That brings me to the etymology of the word expert. It comes from experience. Whilst you can convey your experience with words and visuals, stories, you cannot confer your own experience onto someone else. Each must have their own experience. To put your expertise before someone else's opportunity to have their own experience is a crime against freedom. This is why, even today, carriers of HIV are not forbidden from what I already detailed. Getting sick is not a crime. There is no guilt for making anyone else sick either. I go about my day keeping to myself or entering public venues because, damn it, they are public. If someone else makes the choice to come to the same public venue, responsibility for taking that risk falls upon them, not me. You get in a car, there's a risk something might happen. Avoid that risk by staying out of the car. You think there is some deadly threat in the air? Stop breathing. Keep yourself away from me. Doesn't matter if it's nonsense or if it's valid. The risk is yours to take or not, and where you have freedom to take risks, so do I. The illusion is that anyone is responsible for anyone else. The truth is that you are only responsible for yourself and your own actions. Yet I do not condone harming others, although it falls under the same inherent faculties of freedom. I have protocols for that, however. For what I will do if I encounter a case of one person harming another. That's all I can do. Neither can I forbid you from harming, but I can offer a counter condition of what my own response will be. This is all the police do. They can't stop murders and robberies. All they can do is hold to their protocols of response to them. Does this have some deterrence? You bet it does, though I disagree with the way the police system is set up. Yet ultimately the human is a free animal, capable of scaling near any obstacle, capable of behaving in near any way, for better or worse. This is the risk of freedom. All you can do is handle it. All I am doing here is drawing the debate away from medicine to where it should have been all along. Medical truth has nothing to do with freedom.